What's up, YouTube? We're out here in the shop and we got a little something to show you. Really cool blue looking plastic thing. I'm gonna put it, no, I'm just kidding. Got our new radiator. CSF, Jason Schmuck shroud. He whipped up for me in a 14-inch spa fan. It's a monster fan. So Jason Schmuck did a great job. He mounted the fan in there for me. I did ask him to do bolt mounts instead of welds. Sometimes he'll do welds for these. But I wanted to be able to take this off if I needed to, and also I mount my trans cooler on the other side, and I need to get zip ties through here to mount the cooler. So we're gonna go ahead and slap this girl in. Hopefully this keeps my car nice and cool for these cruises and this summer heat. And there's really nothing wrong with this Mishimoto, guys. I'll probably end up selling it. And I do have the other fan still, so I'll just go ahead and put the other fan on. But it's been good. It's been a good radiator. Nothing wrong with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and hook up my sensor, which I don't actually need that for V2 AM. I'm gonna not be able to hook up my pressure sensor until I get an adapter. So we won't have a pressure sensor, but no big deal. We'll be all right. All right, so we got our old fan shroud off and we got our trans cooler sitting here. So we have to decide where it was. So we're gonna do a little bit of measuring. And then I think this is gonna go in without that, and then I can slide that in and I won't have to remove the turbo housing and everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and mount this trans cooler here with our zips and get her back in. All right, we got her mounted in. There she is. Nice big trans cooler. And now time to get her in the car. So I had to take the housing off. I just did not have enough room. So hopefully we'll have room now. But I was able to look at my turbo and she's looking fabulous. No wear marks or nothing. So really good. It's the first time I pulled it off since I been running this guy. So she's looking good. No issues at all. So let's, we got radiator in. Now we're gonna try to get the shroud in there without the housing. We got her in. Look at that fan. Had to flip our clamps to the back side. We're gonna have to do the same with this guy. Put it on this side so it's not interfering with the fan, but hey, she fits. It's a big fan. Everything's bolting up. Everything's getting tight. We'll be up and running here soon. I gotta go ahead and throw I got a factory thermostat right from Honda. See how it runs with the factory thermostat in it. Keep the water in the radiator longer, so it should get cooler and keep it at a better regulated state at about 185, 190 area. So if I can keep it under like 190 cruising on the highway, I'll be extremely happy. All right, I got a little temporary deal there. So what I want to do is make sure that our polarity is correct, that this fan is pulling, not pushing. So we got to go into the computer here and go to outputs. And it is under radiator fan. And then we just got to set this to DPS less than 80. Where's the, oh, here it is. Gotta change this stuff. So radiator fan comes on above coolant temps 55, so we'll say 45. make sure it's pulling. And it is. Man, that puts out some air, boy. Wow. Feel that. Alright, so we're correct. We'll go ahead and turn the car off. That sucker is pulling. That sucker is pulling some serious air. I think that's going to work really well. All right, so we'll go ahead and get our connector on. So this is a factory connector here. Go ahead and get this guy on, and then we'll have a factory connection. All right, we got our housing back in, and look at all that room. Awesome. Great job, Jason. And this should take care of it. I know Jared, another S2000 buddy, he's got a similar setup with the center fan. That's kind of where I got the idea. For all you guys with Sportsman covers, it's pretty much your only option is one big fan in the middle. You just don't have a lot of room over there. So let's pull it over. We're gonna get water in this car and see how it is. It's really crappy outside, so I can't really drive, but I am going to sit in the garage for quite a while at idle. Might even do some trans brake tests and try to get the engine pretty warm and see when the fan kicks on and all that. Of course, we got to bleed it and everything, so we'll be able to see how it is just at idle and how well the fan works. All right, so we got our handy dandy coolant bleeder funnel guy. I don't know what you guys call this, but they work really well and I use them all the time to bleed. So we got everything hooked up, making sure we don't have any leaks. I just got it sitting in here right now. It's not all buttoned up because I want to make sure everything looks good. We got our lines buttoned up, so we're about to crank her up and get her some water in the motor. All right, guys, well, did as much bleeding as I could on the block bleeder, and we got heat and everything. The stat's just not fully opening. I think it's just slowly bleeding. Top hose is really hot, bottom hose is freezing cold. So radiator is working really good. I just need to get my thermostat to work good. So I think I really just need to go out and drive the car with the cap on, get the pressure built up, get the water flowing, higher RPM, get the water on the back of the thermostat. Because if you don't get water on the back of the thermostat, it'll never open. So it's just not seeing enough water to open all the way. Could still be a couple bubbles. So I'm gonna go pick up the trailer from my buddy for tomorrow. I'm gonna let this sit in here and let everything kind of work its way down in. And then I'm gonna bleed it again later when it's cold. And then probably tomorrow morning before I load it on a trailer, take it down the road and make sure that everything's looking good. I won't have any problems at the racetrack because obviously you don't run it long enough to get that hot, but I want to make sure it's bled good and everything's working good. So, all right, so we're back here in the garage the day after the race. Back on the temperatures and coolant situation. So I wanted to try a factory thermostat, and it's running very consistently. It's like 200 to 202, and it's like does not move. That means it's working. It means the radiator's working great. But I like the car to run a little cooler than that, just because when I do like a pull, they'll climb a little bit and then drop. So I'm gonna put back in my old Mishimoto thermostat with my little bleeder holes. This usually kept it around 180 to 185. So I want to throw that back in just to see if the radiator is keeping up to the old radiator with the twin fans and all that, and with the new turbo kit being so hot around the engine compartment. So we're gonna go ahead and throw that in. I'm gonna get a little water all over me, but changing that thermostat sucks because you pop thermostat housing off and you lose half your water out the block. So, but I want to do it before anything else just to see what it does, and we'll go from there. It's a waterfall. Really cool to have a drain in your garage for this. All right, so we went ahead and drained all of our water. And while we're doing all that, we also drained all of our fluids. So motor oil and trans fluid is also drained. So we're changing all that out. I keep track of my oil. That's actually in 2 now, but keep track of when I change my oil and trans fluid, and then I do how many races is on it. So the reason I'm changing out is because it's been in there working on 3 months now. And the ethanol breaks down the oil, and I'm a big fan of fresh fluids as often as you can, or as often as you can afford. So I always keep quite a stockpile of oil. So we're gonna throw some fluid in, get the water in, and then might go for a little test drive and see how the coolant is. I just did a pool, and it's staying really cool. Like right now it's at 176, 178, and really cool. Big difference on the thermostat, of course, and obviously the radiator is making a big difference. So it is cold out, but it should stay very cool because it's so cold out. It's like 45 degrees outside. So I think I'm happy. After lunch, I'm actually going to do a little cruise on the highway. We're back in the car. We're going to take her down the highway. I want to see how it stays temperature-wise. Right now, it's staying at like 180 to 184. It's just kind of bouncing back and forth because I'm assuming that's where the thermostat is opening and closing. So, yeah, we're going to get on the highway, cruise a little bit, see where the temperatures go to. All right, we're cruising 70 mile an hour on the highway right now, and I just did a pull onto the highway to get everything hot, and I just wanted to see what the temperature was going to do. And it's still staying under 190 degrees, 185, 187. We're going to cruise an exit or two and see if it climbs or see if it recovers. I haven't got the cruise control on. We just got off the highway and it's 188, 190, and we were cruising 70 mile an hour. So this radiator is definitely helping out a ton. I'm about to go into town. I'll see if it recovers real quick back down to like the 180 mark it was at earlier. I'm sure it will. And in about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, it's already back down to 180. It's about to flip over to 178. But yeah, I'm super impressed with the CSF radiator. I mean, yes, it is really cold outside, but even with the other radiator missing that fan, even in 40 degree weather, 45 degree weather, you know, on the highway, it was getting up into the 200s, and it would come back down eventually, but it was really difficult. This thing obviously has way more cooling capacity because it cools down so much quicker. Really happy with the setup. I think the shroud and the big fan plays a big role as well. So super happy with the setup. We're good to go, guys. So now we just got to see what it's going to do. Really hot summers. So I'm going to get home, and that's about it. So another thing we're going to do here with the new radiator is this doesn't have a 1/8 MPT fitting for, say, a pressure sensor or a temperature sensor. So we got this little guy. So this goes in line, and my car already has a straight fitting here. So I think we're going to somehow get it within the hose there, but we don't have any fitting to do a pressure sensor. So I got this so I could read coolant pressure, and coolant pressure is pretty important for us guys on forced induction. What coolant pressure will allow you to do is if you lift a head or blow a head gasket, it typically will pressurize coolant because a coolant jacket will bleed into the cylinder, and the cylinder will push pressure into your coolant, pressurizing your system, and you know that you lifted the head gasket or blew a head gasket. So it doesn't always go into the coolant. It could go to oil jacket, or it could just completely bust out of the side. But almost every time, especially with, I think, most of the Honda motors, it's going to pressurize your coolant system. So it's just a nice sensor to have to read pressure during a full pool and see if you're having any head gasket issues. That's going to tell you you're going to see a really big rise in pressure really quick. So we're going to go ahead and fit this guy on so that way I can read my pressure. All right, we got her in. I actually ordered a little too big. As you can see, it's kind of bulged. I ordered 38. I think it probably need like a 35 or 34, but I folded in there. I didn't bleed too much. So I got her in, heated up the pipe, a little WD-40, stretched the pipe a little bit. She's in there. She's good to go. You can see my sensor is on the back underneath the car there. We'll hook up these lines and we'll start her up. So as you can see, spare pressure 1 there, that's my coolant pressure, and I was just driving around. So we're reading good. It's really steady too. I'm about to pull the logs and see how steady the data is. So the pink squiggle line, that's my spare pressure, and it's very, very solid. It's not all crazy. These little squiggles are only, you know, very minimum changes. So really impressed, super impressed. Well guys, we got our pressure sensor in and she is running great. So again guys, you boosted guys, forced induction, pressure temperature sensors on your coolant is highly recommended. Really good data for your tuner to see. And when you start running those really crazy boost levels, 40, 50, 60 pounds of boost, head gaskets will go. And it's just kind of the game that you play. They're not gonna last forever. Your tune could be off, fuel could be off, or it's so much pressure, the head gasket just lets go. So it's a good thing to have, because once the head gasket does go, you need to make sure that you know it went, replace it as soon as possible. Because if you run with a blown head gasket, you can cause more damage to the motor, and you don't want to do that. So, anyways, guys, we're good to go now. I think next we're gonna have a little bit of a break here from racing. So may not be putting out a ton of racing videos, but I do have something coming up that's pretty awesome. I'm gonna get a video of it. You guys will see it here soon. And then also, I think we're gonna be sending out the compressor cover to Ken's Polish to get a nice polish job. So it's gonna look really sweet when it comes back all polished up. So, all right guys, well again, appreciate support. Comment, like, and subscribe. T-shirts are here. They just got delivered yesterday. So if you ordered a t-shirt, you will be getting a message from me to pay and get it shipped out to you. Or if you guys are local and want to come to the race and get it there, that's cool too. If you guys want a shirt, sweatshirt, let me know, comment, just hit me up on Instagram, Facebook. I'll get you guys a shirt. Again, appreciate it guys, thanks. Continue.